Alan here at Urban Arcade, and as the name states, I like arcades. Well, love them in fact. Ever since the first time I inserted a coin into an arcade machine, that sound, that sense of panic when you run out of money in the arcades. There was something about it, paying to play a game. Just this cabinet dedicated to playing one game in particular. You inserted your coin and off you went. It wasn't just arcades you'd find these in, sometimes you'd find them in restaurants or cab offices. They even had a Street Fighter arcade machine in my school. And Street Fighter was the main game I always looked for when entering an arcade or if I saw one from the outside, but it still didn't stop me playing any kind of arcade machine I could. Most of my arcade experience was during the 90s, so in the recent years they've been on the decline, so I've always been trying to replicate that experience. Whether it be on console or tablet or PC, mainly emulation, playing on MAME along with an arcade stick. Now, as most of you know who follow my channel, you'll know I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I always have been. It was one of the first games I played on an arcade, and it's what got me hooked. From playing it on console, I have such a big collection now, including a sticker book and some clothing. I always wanted my own arcade machine. There's this guy on eBay called Mark, Arcade Flat Pack, or arcade_flat_pack on eBay. When it comes to mini flat pack arcade machines that you literally slot together with ease, I would recommend this guy. Seriously, check him out. He was so friendly and helpful and answered all my questions. I had no clue how to build an arcade machine. Without his help, this wouldn't be possible. Upon looking at the things he does sell, I started to think, there's a possibility that I could own my own arcade machine. Getting one of these kits would get me that one step closer to building my own arcade machine, but I was scared and skeptical as I had no clue how to put one together. Little did I know the amount of stuff you're going to need to put one of these together, along with a Raspberry Pi and artwork. If I ever did own an arcade machine, it'd either be a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter arcade machine. That's why I always thought as a kid, if I owned one, that's what I would get. Check out Utopia Signs. They were the ones that supplied me with the vinyl wrap that I needed to my design. Very decently priced too. The flat pack arcade cabinet arrived and was the most simplest thing to put together. I then had to get the parts, some tools, some paint, some sandpaper, and I started to build. I started to get everything ready to put together. I had to get arcade buttons, I had to get a screen, and all of this stuff is completely new to me. I couldn't even figure out how to configure a Raspberry Pi. YouTube tutorials to the rescue, I started to push forward. Slowly, it started to come together to build in my own Street Fighter arcade machine. I would say the hardest thing about this build was configuring the arcade stick and buttons, something I had no clue of, and now I've done it, I now know how to do it, which is really nice for future projects. With a lot of work later, right before my eyes was my very own bar top Street Fighter 2 arcade cabinet. Seriously, this is amazing. Obviously, I've gone for the original Street Fighter 2 arcade cabinet, because back in the day, whenever they did have these arcade cabinets, they were kits that they added to existing cabinets. If you can see any spots that I've missed, don't worry. Since recording this video, I've gone over every little gap and every little bit of paint that I missed. There's even a coin button and a start button, and a light up Street Fighter 2 marquee. So when you're playing it in the dark, or even if you want it on in general, there's a little LED push button light in there. All of this is running on a Raspberry Pi 2B, so all the emulators like MAME, Sega, SNES, it's all running from that, and I can shut it down from the menu screen, and it's all powered by one plug. So put that in the wall, there's not two power supplies, there's even a speaker in the back, it's perfect. How does it play, you wondering? How does it control? Just like the arcade. Seriously, these buttons feel better than my arcade stick. They are the same buttons used on the original Street Fighter cabinets and Mortal Kombat cabinets. It feels so fluent and controls so well. It's running on MAME, so I'm playing the arcade version of Street Fighter 2. Set to free play, even though there's a coin button. It's not just Street Fighter 2 I have on this cabinet. I would say I have about 800 games, all my favourite games as well, and they all run perfectly. That's Mega Drive, SNES, Game Gear, Game Boy, even Tomb Raider 3. I don't know why I put that on there. I think I was testing it and I forgot to remove it, so I might as well leave it on there. I then started to realise, hold on a second Alan, You've got your own Street Fighter 2 arcade cabinet, one that doesn't dominate the house. You can play at any time. That feeling of seeing an arcade machine, you have that now, replicated. And it was you who put it together, someone with completely no knowledge of any of this stuff I did. It makes me feel proud, I must say. It's such a common thing nowadays that people actually build their own stuff with the help of the internet. You could have completely no knowledge, look up a few tutorials, you become an expert. The possibilities are endless. You're not an expert, but you can learn and you can achieve something if you really put your mind to it. Keep trying and don't give up. At one point I wanted to give up while making this cabinet. It seemed too hard, there were things I had no clue about. I didn't know what screen to get, I didn't know how to mount a screen. The other thing is, why are you even bothering? You have a PS1, PS2, PS3 and PS4 and a good tablet, the newest phone, all there to play any game you want. Why do you want an arcade cabinet? Well, I guess it's a dream I've always had, to own my own arcade cabinet. Something that's more practical to own in your home than a massive one dominating the living room. That's just something I wanted to share with you. Thank you everyone for making this possible. Alan the Urban Arcade, signing off. I'll see you later.